All right, already breathing hard because did a little riding around, but putting something together here because more and more people are hitting me up asking me how this Capra Shred climbs and what I think of the weight, and I'll get into that in a second. But you know, I watched a ton of videos when I was trying to figure out what I was going to buy, and you know, I geek out and watch YouTube on how to build things and how to dial in the bike a little better. And you know, I watch that just to kind of try to find some tips and tricks, but all the while just being mindful of the fact that my only competition is me. It's not the dudes I ride with, it's not the guys on YouTube. It's, you know, whether or not I'm having fun and you know, getting better along the way, if that's what's important to me at the time. But most of all, just getting as much time on two wheels as I can before I can't anymore. I'm fortunate enough to live in an area that's got some really cool riding places, trail systems. There's a bunch of them up in those hills up there, and for the most part we start somewhere close to the bottom and ride somewhere close to the top and then bomb back down. And so that's the kind of riding I do, so keep that in mind when I'm talking about what works for me. But that's exactly it, it's just what works for me. So hopefully you guys take any of this stuff with a grain of salt, and if it helps you get closer to learning more about what you want or you know, anything positive, then cool. If not, and you're a pro and you really want to shave that much time off of your you know, your race, then you probably already stopped watching, so you're gone anyways. Anyway, so good times. I hope you enjoyed what I've got to say. I hope it makes sense. If you think there's anything that's worth me making that you'd like to see, let me know. Just kind of getting into this, and you know, happy to put out stuff that people are interested in seeing, all the while having a good time on the old BC. So here she is. Got everything's kind of dialed in, you know, as it came. Threw a little bit of frame protector on there, and that's it. That's how I roll. All right, so take a listen. Let me know what you think. All right, off for a nice little evening ride. Had a couple of people ask me how this thing climbs, and you know, when I hear and see people asking about and advising about bikes, it's, it really all comes down to what works for you. What do you like? You know, how does something climb? My first answer would be like the person that's riding it. If you're a good climber, this bike's gonna climb just fine. I've got the setting in firm on both the front and the rear. I'm an okay climber. I don't keep up with all my friends, and I'm not the slowest one on the trail. You know, if this was something that was going to be used by a pro that can tell the difference between a few fractions of a second, then I wouldn't even be able to say what that person would say. But for me, someone that likes to earn the downhill, so I do like to climb, and I like to ride trails that have a good amount of climb up and then all descend down, and that's kind of what we have where I live. There's not too many places that are up, down, you know, cross-country type of style. But I'm here at a little local bike park that has a fire road climb up to where some of the hang gliders launch. Up there, if you could see it. And it gets a little bit steep right here. I'll try to find the grades and put them in the notes. But you know, the other thing I wanted to say about climbing is, you know, how does this thing climb? How does the Capra Shred climb? Well, aside from the climber that's on it, compared to what? This thing climbs a whole hell of a lot better than the bike I had, which was a carbon frame and a whole lot lighter. And I'll get into the weight thing in a second. That's where it gets a little bit hectic for me. But I can already tell this thing climbs better than my other bike. And so, if you're thinking about buying one of these, my guess is that it's an upgrade for you in a lot of ways. And you know, given what I just said about advice, this thing's great for me. I can look at my Strava times and see if it's better, but it certainly feels better, and I like it. And then think about, you know, what is it that you're looking for in a bike? Do you want to have the fastest climb? Well, don't buy something with this much travel. You want to be able to climb okay and rip downhill? It's probably something right up your alley, especially for the price point. So, how does it climb? I think it climbs pretty damn good for me. And I'm very impressed with it as an overall bike for what I'm looking to do. So, that said, take a quick moment here just to enjoy this view. I like riding here. It's a small bike park with only a couple hundred feet of climbing at the peak, but if you lap it a couple times, you can turn it into, you know, something that's got, I don't know, 1,500 feet worth of climbing and 5 or 6 miles worth of riding, which is perfect for me. My buddies laugh at me for doing this course all the time, but they call them the dad laps, because I can get out, get a few laps in like I am right now, right after dinner, right after a fried chicken sandwich. So that might tell you a little bit about what kind of mountain biker I am. But I'm loving this thing, and I don't know if you can see the shock moving down there. Not much bob at all. I didn't play with the factory settings. I've adjusted the compression firm or soft. Made sure that the front fork had the right kind of air put into it for my body weight, loaded with whatever I ride with. And I ride at probably between 210 and 215 pounds. The bike weighs 37.2 pounds. And that is by using the ultra scientific method of weighing myself on the bathroom scale, then holding my bike, then pulling out a calculator. So that's that. So is it heavy? No, not for me. And you can see from my silhouette, I'm not a physical specimen, but the bike's, you know, a small percentage of my body weight. Now, if I was 150 pounds, it might feel heavy to me. But, you know, all the specs are out there. You can compare that to what you're riding now. So I don't know how much the weight really plays a factor going uphill, given everything I had just said. I'm on a flat now. You can see I'm in the large 52 tooth, if you can see that way. But works out just perfect, just fine. And I'm enjoying it. So, you know, I'd be a fool to not mention some of my sponsors right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, because they really do make this channel click. First off is Gas Station Goggles. Gas Station Goggles has been there with me and for me since I was a kid. There seems to be one in every town I go to. They never charge me more than $70.99 or maybe $11.99. They always have the most trendy styles, from old school looking Oakleys, knockoffs, to Lokes or Mad Dogs or whatever you call them, to some good old-fashioned aviators. Gas Station Goggles. Check them out in a town near you. Also, favorite t-shirt. You know, the one that your wife doesn't like, the one that smells a little bit, the one that's Got a lot of holes, but the one that seems to find your hand every time you reach into the drawer. Yeah, those are my two main sponsors for this climb ride. And like I said before, it doesn't matter what works for me. It matters what works for you. And you know, poking around and watching stuff like this, maybe it helps. I never thought I'd make YouTube videos, but I watched a bunch when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with you know, making a purchase, and it helped. So hopefully this is helping you as well. I'm going to try to get a couple laps in here before they shut this place down. All right, hope everyone's well and enjoying yourself out there, staying healthy.